Hello my beautiful ducks and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today I am back in The Sims 4 and I'm building this modern getaway in the world of Windenburg. So I've had a little bit of enough of cottage living. I know that sounds really crazy because it's probably hands down one of the best expansion packs we've had in a while, but I feel like YouTube, definitely Instagram, is just so overly saturated with cottages and builds inspired by Henford on Bagley, so I decided to do something a little bit different. So this is a modern getaway for your Sims who want to be by the beach, want to be by the seaside or the coast, and it's basically a very small version of a cabin, I would sort of say. It's not a wooden cabin, and it doesn't really have the same kind of vibe that you would get from builds in Granite Falls, but this build is heavily inspired by Windenburg and the very modern vibe or the very modern style that you see on the island of Windenburg. So I kind of felt like I wanted something that would fit that environment and just be the perfect getaway for your two adult Sims to just come away, enjoy the beach, enjoy the peace and quiet, and have this modern place where they can get some work done. Maybe they are musicians or writers. This build has one bedroom and one bathroom. It's a very small build, as you can see, but it's very cluttered, it's very homely, and I kind of feel like this is the kind of place that your Sims would call home from home, if that makes any kind of sense. So the motivation behind this build was actually from real life, not saying that I've stayed in a house that's as nice as this. Although I did just spend the weekend with my friends in Brighton. So my boyfriend and I went to a wedding down in Brighton, actually in Worthing, which is just up the coast from Brighton. Those of you who are not from the UK, Brighton is a seaside town. I guess it's a city actually. It's a seaside city on the south coast of the UK. It is, I would say, the LGBTQ plus capital of the UK. It's so much fun. Like, there's drag queens everywhere and all the bars and pubs are gay friendly and everyone just is so super friendly and super nice, and I love Brighton. So we were down there for a wedding and we basically, well, due to COVID, the wedding had been postponed once already and we were supposed to go down in July, but at the time the UK was still a bit sort of not really open yet in terms of wedding venues and party venues. So the wedding was postponed until August, beginning of August. So we were looking at hotels and Airbnbs and places to stay down in Brighton, but we left it like way too late. It was so expensive, like £400 for 2 nights. It's just insane. Like, there's no way any normal person would spend that much money on a hotel for the night, especially when, like, they're nice hotels, but they're not £400 2 nights nice hotels, if that makes sense. And some of them were quite far away from the seaside as well. Like, we wanted to be quite close to the pier and close to the train station because, like, you girls wearing heels to a wedding and there's no way that I'm going to be traipsing around Brighton, you know, late at night with my feet killing me after wearing heels all night. There's just no way. So we wanted somewhere that would be quite close to the wedding venue, but unfortunately we couldn't find anything. And then when I met up with some friends for my birthday, they kindly told us that one of my friends has a holiday home in Brighton. So we were like, oh, that's so awesome, we're due to be going to Brighton as well. Like, so basically they told us that they were going to Brighton for the month of August, and we were like, oh, that's so weird, we're going to Brighton as well. And as we got talking and we were saying like, oh yeah, it's for a wedding, but it's so expensive to stay there and we're not sure if we're going to be able to go now. And my friend was like, hey, you can just stay with us. We have like spare rooms and, you know, it'll be totally fine. Just come down and, you know, we'll spend the weekend together, because the wedding was on the Friday. So we were like, we can spend time with you on the weekend. So anyway, now I know my friend has money, but I didn't realize like how much money. So when we rocked up to this holiday home, and bearing in mind we thought it was just going to be like a normal apartment in Brighton, like, you know, yes, nice, but not like how it was. So basically we rocked up and the apartment was literally right on the coast. It was absolutely beautiful, like so nice. You could see the pier from my friend's balcony, and like you went up the flight of stairs into the flat, and their living room and their kitchen was probably the length of my entire apartment. I'm not joking. And basically I was just in awe of this apartment. It was so beautiful. Like the ceilings were hand painted like the Sistine Chapel in the Vatican. Like honestly, it was just beautiful. And we had like our own full bathroom to our bedroom, and it was just insane. So now I have more of an idea about my friend's wealth, and it's a little bit like scary and overwhelming, but she's so super friendly and super nice and down to earth that you never really get that about her, if that makes any kind of sense. Anyway, I feel like I whittled on way too much. We've completely missed the majority of this video. But basically I was just explaining that because my friend has a Smeg fridge, and it's the first time I've ever seen a Smeg fridge in real life. And a Smeg fridge is very similar to the fridge we got with the latest expansion pack, and that's what I used in this build. And I felt like the kitchen in this build was a little bit of a homage to my friend's expensive apartment. So that was kind of the vibe I was going for with this build, that the people that come away and stay in this house are quite well off, and this is like their home from home. And I just tried to make it as luxurious as possible. So they've got like really nice backsplashes and the brick feature wall. I used a lot of the modular furniture which came with the Dream Home Decorator pack, and there's this lovely little office area where your Sims can just sit by the computer, look out the window and see the coast and see the nature and the wildlife. And it's just a really calming, relaxing place, and that was really the vibe I was going for with this build. Just really cozy, really comfy, but also modern and just glamorous, I guess. Like glamorous, but in a not a tacky sense, if that makes any kind of sense. Anyway, so this build, like I said, is on the island of Windenburg, and it's been a really long time since I've built something in Windenburg, so I felt like this was a really good way to get back into building in other worlds, because at the moment I feel like everything I build, or every time I open up my game, I just immediately want to jump into the Henford on Bagley world, and I feel like there are other worlds in The Sims 4 which do deserve a bit of love every now and then. I feel like Windenburg is definitely one of them. I would say this world and Brindleton Bay are probably my favourite Sims 4 worlds. Let me know in the comment section down below what your favourite world is and which of the worlds you most like to live or build in, because I always find that really fascinating when people have like their different favourites in this game, because there's so much to choose from. So let me know in the comment section. At the moment I'm working on this extension to the house. I decided that when I was building that I really didn't have enough space to fit everything that I wanted to. I didn't want the rooms to be too cramped, so I'm just working on this sort of modern extension to the house, and I decided to give it a half wall roof and then just added the platform on top to level it out. I felt like that was much more modern. It kind of gave me the feeling that maybe it was an extension that they had put onto the original house. Perhaps this is originally quite an old looking house and they've done it up, and this extension on the bedroom and the bathroom area is just that way to show that they've got money and that they want to keep adding to this build to make it as luxurious and up to date as possible. So this build is on the gallery, so if you do want to download it and put it into your game, you need to just search for my origin ID, which is laursimming. It's got no CC, it is also completely functional. I have play tested this build, everything works absolutely fine, and that's pretty much it really for the build. So I just go around now and quickly add some curtains to the build. I always forget to add curtains. It's kind of one of those things where I feel like we don't really have enough choice in the game when it comes to curtains, so I'm always like forgetting to add them, which is kind of annoying. I really hope in the future we get more options for curtains. I would really like to see some Venetian blinds being added, or maybe some more like wooden slatted blinds maybe. I'm so annoyed with the ones that came with the Snowy Escape pack, because that hands down is a gorgeous blind. You know, the one with bamboo patterns on it, but every time you size it down it leaves this disgusting shadow and it just makes it look awful, and I can't stand when the game has like ridiculously weird glitches and bugs and clipping and all that kind of stuff. So I can never use that blind unless I'm building in a really big house using the really large windows, which I hardly ever do because I'm terrified of building large homes. Honestly, like I really struggle with anything that's bigger than like a 20 by 30, like tops. That's probably the biggest lot I've ever done is a, no, I'm lying, I've done a 40 by 30 maybe, I don't know, but I cannot fathom doing a 64 by 64. I think it would actually be the end of me. So now we are outside and we're just working on the landscaping for this build. Now I kind of struggled with how I wanted this to look and how I wanted it to come out. I kind of felt like if you live this close to the coast, like you're not sitting in your garden, like you're going to be on the beach. So I didn't feel like I really needed that much landscaping in this build. But I did leave it quite overgrown, quite natural. I sort of felt like maybe the Sims that live here probably own very manicured, landscaped homes in the city or wherever they originally come from. But I felt like with this build, they just sort of, they're more relaxed with it. They just leave it to maybe just be really natural and let nature grow where it may. I feel like they're not particularly gardener Sims. Like they probably hire a gardener to sort out their home garden. So when it comes to this lot, they just sort of like leave it to basically look however it does naturally. But I'm really pleased with how it turned out. I tried to take a lot of inspiration from the surrounding landscaping of the island, so I use a lot of the same plants and trees and just try to give it a really sort of, yeah, just natural and realistic sort of style. Added some rocks here and there just to give it a little bit more interest and maybe a bit more natural kind of feel towards it. I put down some planters so that your Sims can do some gardening if they want to. So I put down the birds of a flock of birds, is it a flock of birds? And the wild rabbit hutch, which came with the new pack. I always forget what those objects are called. Basically the birds and the wild rabbits, so you'll have those on your lot if you do decide to download this build. And of course you have the new expansion pack, but basically now we're just in the garden working out some activities and seating for the barbecue area, because I did want the Sims to have the option to eat outside, because there isn't very much space inside the build for eating. There's a small table in the kitchen with 2 chairs, so outside there's a bit more space for your Sims if they want to entertain, or of course if you have more Sims that you want to invite to this build in your game. So there are a couple of deck chairs, and then I'm just going around and lining this path from the front to the back with some rocks, just to make it a bit more interesting, because I felt like the edge of the lot just needed something to make it feel a bit more decorative. But that's pretty much it for this build. I really hope you've enjoyed this video. If you did, please do remember to give it a big thumbs up. It really helps me to know that you're enjoying my content, and if you are able to leave a comment, I'd love that. I'd love to hear from you, see what you think about this build. Also, let me know if you have any suggestions in the future of what you'd like to see me build. So I will see you next time, everyone, and until then, stay safe, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye!